Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. I run the Recessionist here, and I've been predicting a recession since late November. You can check out my website, recessionistpro.com, where I have all the data, all the indicators, tons of useful tools. You can even talk to my model live with an AI chatbot. So guys, I wanted to make a video. I think we are officially in a recession. And why am I saying that? Well, as you guys have been known, if you've been following the channel, you know that I've been looking at a lot of things, the job market, different things like credit spreads, and just kind of tracking how the economy is doing with so many different indicators as we have on the website. As you can see here, tons of things. Most importantly, jobs, interest rates, things like that. Lots of data. But I've been tracking things, and things have just really been looking bad. Jobs keep getting revised month after month. They look worse than they were, and then the markets aren't really reacting. Housing market is not really doing well, and geopolitical stuff is going crazy. But now I think the straw has finally broken the camel's back. Trump is waging war with Iran. A lot of other countries are getting involved, and this is causing oil to spike like crazy. Now, what happens with this is that inflation is starting to go up, and the Federal Reserve was really hoping inflation would start going down so it could keep cutting interest rates and keep the economy flowing, keep money flowing. But now the problem is that since inflation is going up, we have stagflation. The Fed is trapped, and this is pretty much how every recession starts. When the Fed gets trapped due to some unforeseen situation, they can't really do anything. They can't really prevent a recession, because if they start lowering rates right now, it can really create a lot of problems because inflation is still going up. They can't raise rates either because the economy is so weak. A lot of people think, it's kind of crazy. And I think another reason why we are officially in a recession and things are about to get really, really bad is because there's still a lot of delusion in the marketplace. And you might be thinking, Tom, everyone's calling for a recession, stuff like that. But that's not true. I see a lot of it on Reddit where people saying, hey, I hope all you idiots are selling tomorrow so I could buy it back cheap. And then like this guy on Twitter. So when I saw this, I was initially like, oh, this guy is actually selling his stuff. He's putting it in cash. It seems pretty safe, right? But if you read the comments, this guy's actually trolling. He's actually saying that this like Iranian news, all this bad data, everything like that, it's just a blip on the radar, and it's just going to keep going up forever. That is literally his 3D chess take. He showed this graph here, so it just keeps going up and up. But the ironic thing here is that this graph is stretching out the data, and you're not really looking at it accurately. For example, if you look at this graph here in the beginning from 2000 or so, when the dot-com bubble crashed, you can actually see that it took a long time for the economy to get back to where it was, almost 8 years just to get back to where it was, and then it crashed after that. And it wasn't really until 2017 or so where it was able to get back to where it was. So that was a span of like 16 years that took your money to really grow to what it could have been. So this guy's like, oh, it's just going to keep going up forever. But if we actually take this graph and look at it, if we look at 2025 right now, if it takes, another 16 years to get back here, we could see a lot of chop, and the stock market might not get back this high till 2041. That's a real possibility. But why am I making this video? Well, my recession indicator is going nuts. It's now at 82 out of 100. Now, anything plus 65 basically means we're in a recession. And when recessions hit, they happen quickly. It's not like they're just like, over the span of a couple months. Usually they hit and the markets don't really react quick enough. And that's kind of what we're seeing. So it hit 65 really just a week ago, pretty much when Trump bombed Iran. And now it's just going up like crazy. We have all sorts of data coming in. Job reports are being revised again. ADP job reports are not good. A lot of white-collar jobs are being decimated by AI. There's the AI bubble. No one's even talking about that right now because there's this huge problem with oil. Oil is now at $100 a gallon or a barrel, and it's gone up a lot. I've seen reports that it's gone from $3 to $3.50 in just 1 week. So things are not looking good. I'm officially calling it here on the channel. We are now in a recession. So I didn't know what was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back when I started making this channel and making videos in November. I just knew that something was going to happen. I knew that Trump is a fucking moron, and I knew he was going to mess everything up because that's just what he does. And look what happened. He bombed Iran, and now oil's shooting up. The Fed is trapped. They can't lower interest rates. Inflation is going up, and overall everything is just screwed. So you might be wondering, well, Tom, what are you doing? You seem to know this was going to happen, right? So what have you been doing? Well, I told you guys here on the channel already. I'm investing in long-term treasury bonds because I believe a couple different things. I believe when a recession comes, long-term treasury bonds like EDV, ZRAs, and some other ones that are a little less risky do very well. And why does that happen? Well, it's because the yield goes lower, because interest rates go down. Why do interest rates go down? Well, it's because a recession happens. People are spending less, inflation starts going down. And we are in a point right now where inflation is going up. So you may be saying, Tom, why would you invest in these things if inflation is going up? Well, that's because usually before an economy breaks, we turn into a real recession. Lots of times inflation does go up, but there always comes a time when it has to come down. When the recession starts hitting, when the floodgates start opening, when people stop spending, when credit starts breaking, when the mortgages start breaking, all these things start happening. People start selling stocks. They start retreating, putting it back into cash. And these are the kind of things, they stop spending. And these are the things that are going to make costs go down. People are going to stop spending money on gas. Eventually, the price of gas is going to have to go down once this whole thing with Iran gets resolved. So it could be a little bit, maybe 3 to 9 months before my chosen pick really starts ripping. But at the end of the day, when a recession happens, if inflation goes crazy, there always comes a point where it has to go down because things are too broken. We've seen that in pretty much every kind of historical precedent when this has happened. And, you know, some people say, hey, Tom, there's some things in the 70s and 80s where inflation was so high and stuff like that. But in these periods, most stocks didn't really do well for a long time anyways. So it's not like there's better options to necessarily pick when these things are happening. If we look at my portfolio, my safe portfolio right here, right now, it's now outperformed the S&P 500 by 4.4% since November. This is just a safe option. It's a combination of cash, some treasury bonds, and some gold. But that just goes to show you how bad things are getting. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this video. Check out my some videos coming up right now here on the channel. And I'll see you again very soon. Welcome to the recession, everybody.